Welcome to another episode of Jamin's Daily. Today we're going to talk about the Texas freeze. Because for the folks at home, I think I may have said once or twice before, but I'm here in Corpus Christi, Texas. We're experiencing this polar vortex once in a decade, maybe a 20 in a generation kind of freeze. Okay, folks. 37 years old. I don't remember it. I've lived in Corpus for 25 of the last 25 of 37 years, and it's never been this cold for this many days in a row. And power's going out. I'm sure people have been seeing things on TV, and they always like to highlight, the worst of it. And my heart goes out to all the people who are suffering and don't have power, no water's not working, no food. It's a big mess, An interesting thing, folks, because people don't have food, their energy isn't working, so they can't use a microwave. Even, you have canned goods, you can't warm them up, so you're going to eat cold beans. I mean, if you're starving to death, then okay, that's what it comes to. But if people go a couple days in this discomfort, they get crazy. So I waited in line at Popeye's Chicken for an hour yesterday. I don't know about everybody else here in Texas and all the other fast food restaurants all over this great state of Texas, but here in Corpus Christi, fast food restaurants were making a killing all week. I actually thought they were going to run out of chicken because I was like in the street. The line was in the street, and it was already almost 8 o'clock by the time I got my food. So at 7:40, I'm thinking, man, and there's still 15 cars in front of me. I'm thinking, maybe what happens if they run out of chicken? They didn't, though. I think they were prepared. Unlike the officials and I guess, I don't know, people who were employed to make sure the power grid stays up. They didn't do a great job. They didn't plan. Unlike Popeye's Chicken, who planned for this, uptick in business. But, there's plenty of blame to go around. Not really, and I don't think it's always, I guess, someone's fault. But, this is once in a generation, once in 100 years. This has never happened before. It doesn't freeze like this in Texas, okay, folks? It just doesn't. So, maybe this happened 100 years ago, but there weren't all these houses and people's pipes weren't busting. But now it's happening. And what? You're going to weatherize the entire state, like all over. We're going to weatherize here in Corpus Christi in case it freezes again 10, 15, 20 years from now. If we're going to spend all this money, so I need to weatherize my house for the freezing cold, even though most days, it's going to be 80 degrees probably within the next 10 days. We'll probably hit 80 degrees here in Corpus Christi because the weather's crazy like that. And, on Christmas Day, you go outside in most Christmases, you can go outside in shorts and a t-shirt. Okay? It's not like that in other places where it's always cold and it snows every year and it gets freezing. We're not used to that. It doesn't happen here. When it snows, people will get crazy. It's like a huge event when it snows. You live in Buffalo, New York, you're buried in snow 4 months out of the year, okay? The natives of the Arctic have like 40 words for snow. You know what? It doesn't really snow, it doesn't really freeze in South Texas, okay? So, we could have weatherized, I guess. Actually, we're doing real great. We're lucky. Power's been on. The water at one point did get very low, in which I had every time I used the facilities, I had to put water in to fill the toilet thing So it would go down. Major inconvenience. But pales in comparison to what other people have been experiencing. So just thought I'd share that with you folks, what's going on, in case there's listeners not in the area, within my immediate family, who are listening to this and want to, maybe a first-hand account as to what's really going on in Texas. And what's really going on is that power companies are turning off people's power for days. And it's cold, so they're freezing inside their house. Then, it's bad enough, this has happened before, like in hurricanes, so people's power goes out for a couple days, and it's hot. That's terrible. But then, for Texans, I guarantee if you ask the average South Texan, would you rather have the power go out in the summer and you're hot, or would you rather it go out in freezing weather? Okay, people don't know how to handle this. It's the worst timing. So, again, very fortunate here at the home studio, Jamin's Daily. For those of y'all who don't have it so well, I don't know. Is there a silver lining in all of this? If there is and you have it, send me an email at jaminsdaily@gmail.com. When we get back, folks, we're going to get into what we normally do on this podcast, which is look into some current events and pop culture. We'll do some headlines. Maybe we can see what's going on. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of things about what we were just talking about. And I will opine on what national media thinks they know about what's going on in Texas. And when we get back, folks, stick with us. And we're back from the break. Did you hear that? And we're back from the break, folks. Thanks for joining us once again here on Jamin's Daily, brought to you by Sage Choice Insurance Agency. Give us a call anytime, 361-440-2411, or look here on the layout, quote from Jamin.com. Check it out. Super easy form. We'll get to you with a quote. Let's have a look at some headlines, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what's cooking on the internet. And we got old Biden is in a political firestorm over school openings. Let's get this mic up a little better. There we go. Let's have a look. School openings. What's going on? Biden apparently, I think during his campaign, had promised that the majority of schools would be open within the first 100 days. And a couple of days ago, his press secretary said they were going to have the majority of schools. Their idea of schools being open the majority of the time was having all schools open at least one day out of the week. So of course everybody's like, what? One day? That's ridiculous. So he's pushing, again, within the first 100 days, he wanted to have these goals within opening schools. Well, he's getting this huge pushback by teachers unions in certain states all over the country. And they're trying, the teachers unions are literally using the thing is no crisis can go, you always got to take advantage of a crisis. You can't let a crisis go to waste. So here you are, teachers unions using this as a way to negotiate up their deals, which is kind of, you can make an argument either way. It seems pretty crappy, but at the same time, there's legitimate arguments being made. But at the same time, nobody feels good about being, what's the word? Like, you feel like nobody wants to feel like they're having to cave into demands because of people using the leverage of a pandemic. Again, it's complicated. Teachers, they're always fighting for all these other things. They just need more money. I don't understand. And that goes to show that the money's just not there. So there's these other things that they're always fighting for. They should just get more money. Pay them more money. So and quit crying about supplies and this and that. Just pay them more. They'll be happy they'd be much more happy if they just got paid more. But I guess. Listen, my parents were teachers. My dad was a teacher. It's kind of a lifestyle. You don't go into teaching to make a lot of money. You're not. But you get a lot of benefits. You get good health insurance. You get teachers' retirement. You only work. You have a lot of days off. If teachers, a teacher's salary was paid throughout the year, like other people who work, who get like 2 weeks off and then, a couple holidays. Teachers get a week off for Thanksgiving, 2 weeks off for Christmas, spring break, and then all kinds of other days. It's summer. It pales in comparison. I know teachers work a lot when they do work, but, the thing is, if they just worked year round like everybody else, they would make 20, 30% more than what they already make. Here in Texas, the average teacher probably makes $50,000. Now, let's just say you gave them a 20% raise because now they're working in June and July. That's $10,000. So now they're making $10,000 more. That's one way to pay them more, but I don't know. What do I know? The Simpsons have once again predicted the future, folks. Listen, if you have 1,000 episodes, you're going to stumble upon things. I guess this has to do with Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is an idiot, okay, because he should have known better. Somebody should have told him, listen, you cannot go to Cancun, even if it's like escorting your wife and daughters. That's a legitimate excuse. Like, listen, they wanted to get out of here. We have the money and the wherewithal to be able to. So why should they suffer? So my wife and my 2 daughters go to Cancun, and I want to make sure they get there. That was dumb. Pay a bodyguard to go with them. You got to keep your ass here, Ted Cruz. Stimulus. 2 states approved plan for a new round of checks. How nice. I guess if you want to give the citizens of your state, money from state coffers, this doesn't come from the federal government, I guess it's nice, but just seems counterintuitive. Like, people need money, but if you're just giving away money, then money loses its value, I think. That's what they teach in economics. The never-ending story of Bonilla's deal with the Mets. Apple's tiny desktop reaches lowest price ever. Ooh, horrific details of alleged sex abuse by kids' dance teacher. No. We don't want to get into that. That's a little heavy. Let's look here. Low-income Californians to receive $600 stimulus checks as part of COVID-19 relief. So California and Maryland approved plans to send direct payments to some people. Yeah, this is where I get it. There's people who are really poor and have kids, and so $600 is a lot of money. But what people need to understand is that they're printing this money. We taxpayers have to pay it back in theory, but how do you pay back $25 trillion? It's very precarious situation we find ourselves in, folks, in terms of monetary and fiscal policy. Texas prices for lodging necessities skyrocket amid storm. Yes, folks, you know what this is called? Supply and demand. When the demand is really high, the prices go up. Okay? This is how that works. I wonder if in this article they talk about that. Now, there's such thing as price gouging, and if you're doing that, it's against the law, and you can be prosecuted. But if you have toilet paper and people want to buy a lot of toilet paper, and you can sell it for what the market will bear. That's how it works. It's not a good idea. You don't want the government telling business what they can and can't charge for things, folks. So just got to deal with it. Democrats introduce bill to bar twice impeached presidents from Arlington. See, that seems kind of petty. So they're trying to, block Trump from being, I guess, buried in Arlington as other presidents, I guess, might be. That seems kind of vindictive. But hey, this is where we're at. Come on now. Having a little bit of technical difficulties, folks. This mouse. I had to take the mouse from my dad's laptop. This mouse is older than most millennials, probably. Okay, dude. This is like a 16-year-old mouse, maybe. And it's kind of not working well. Let's try something else, folks. Let's try it again. Let's see if it works. Ching. That wasn't what I wanted to do. There we go. No, it's just not working. I'm using OBS, folks. Probably 99% of people don't even know what that is, but it's what I used to kind of do this program. And, it's free software and it's supposed to work, but sometimes it doesn't. It's such a shame. So let's try something different. Let's get rid of this. We'll put my pretty face back on the photo there, right there, so we can see. And we're going to try to put on Yahoo again, see if it works. We're a little rusty, guys. I know. You come to expect more from your host, Jamin. But, it's been about 2 weeks since I've been able to do an actual live, just do a podcast. So I'm a little rusty. All I got is excuses, folks. But, the good thing is we're going to do quite a bit of content today. So hopefully we'll be able to weed out what's not good. And then you can just kind of fast forward through it, guys. You don't have to watch the whole thing. You just catch your little bits and pieces here and there, find some gems, have a laugh or two. That's how podcasting works. So now that we got this back, let's see if we can interact with it and get it to work better. Cross your fingers, folks, because here it is. Oh, yes. Lindsey Vonn. Her butt and back look so strong in this at-home workout video. How nice. We actually missed that. So here's the Trump situation. McDonald's customer turns heads after sharing the menu item. You should never... Remember, we were talking about this. Look at how they do these links nowadays. The ... That is a newer thing that's going on, and I hate it. Now, Chicago mayor spent over $281 million in virus relief funds on police payroll. Wow. What white America doesn't understand is that black Americans feel like we're already ... Oh, man, what a cliffhanger there. That is awesome clickbait. Texas in turmoil. Stars speak out. Oh, my God. I heard a little bit about that. Like, Hollywood celebrity stars talking about getting into politics over what's going on in Texas. And it's like, oh, my God. These people are so douchey. No one cares about your opinion on what's going on here in Texas. Mark Ruffalo, the Hulk. Yeah, I want to know what the Hulk thinks. Mark Ruffalo, his opinion on Texas. Give me a break. This is why men can't beat the viral center of gravity TikTok challenge. Oh, it's all about proportions. Listen, this TikTok challenge is gendered and problematic, okay? Because, you know, women have these bodies that men, the proportions that you're talking about, folks, women have those proportions and they're unable to do it too. Okay? You know what I'm talking about? Guys, folks at home, it's 2021, so I don't like this. This is why men can't beat the virus. No, no. Not right, folks. You can do better, fatherly. Mexico finds clandestine burial pits in North Gulf Coast. At least half a dozen bodies have been found buried in shallow pits in the scrubland of the northern Mexico state of Sonora. Yeah, that's not good. I'm willing to bet it has to do with drugs. Switch off light bulbs. President asked Mexicans to ration power as Texas limits fuel. Mexico's president asked consumers on Thursday to use less electricity. So here's one of the crazy things about what's been happening, folks. So the power grid pushed to the limits. Then schools are canceled. Work is canceled. So everybody is at home. What the heck do you think they're all doing when they're all at home? Every light is on. All the TVs are on. Everyone's watching Netflix. The kids are all using their Xboxes and PlayStations. It's just, hell, I'm sure some people were like, hey, let's do some laundry. It was a massive overload of, it was a perfect storm of energy consumption. Texas Ford F-150 hybrid owners taking advantage of generator functions. Yeah, that's cool. I'm sure they found a way. What are they going to do? Oh, we need to power your power. Do you need energy to your power tools? Can it actually generate the whole house? No way. Maybe a bedroom. I drive an F-150, but an older 2019. But the new ones apparently have these new hookups that have a generator for power tools and things like that. So that's pretty cool. Vince Gill on Morgan Wallen's a racial slur. I knew that everyone was going to massacre. What do you think? Massacre country music, I think is what he was talking about, Vince Gill. That's right, man. If you like country music like I do, but older country music, and then as you've seen it in the 2000s, into the to what you see now, the watered down, this is more pop, the pop influence into country music. Everybody saw this coming. Okay, it's more country music is trying to become more mainstream and less country, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I need to bring on, I'm going to have a guest. We'll talk to them about it. Or you folks at home have an opinion. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Make a comment. Many people, I think, feel like country music isn't what it is. And then, you can make everyone, oh, yeah, it's not what it is because it's not racist anymore. I don't know, I guess. Garth Brooks? I mean, I'm talking about George Strait, Tracy Lawrence. I'm talking about good country music. The songs are universal. There's nothing racialized about some of the lyrics and the music in those songs. What's more, I guess, if racialized is even a word, is the people who like that kind of music are a particular set of people, I guess. I mean, that's another stereotype to be made. I'm not that type of person. I like country music. But there's this perception. And I'm telling you, folks, or country music purists or lovers or people in the industry, I mean, if you want to, there's going to be a backlash and they're going to lose fans, okay? Because country music used to be differentiated from pop music, and now in many cases, you can't. So it's not even country music anymore. It's just top 40. So I guess if that's what the people want, J.J. Watt is most likely to sign with this NFL team. Who cares? Bridgerton's Phoebe Denever reacts to the internet's obsession with her neck acting. Ooh. I'm going to have to Google that later, folks, because I don't know what that is. Post Malone response whether he would collaborate with 6ix9ine. Tell you what, folks, Post Malone, he seems pretty corporate. I mean, I like him. He's got some jams. He said he probably wouldn't, but money talks. I think if they offered him enough money, he probably would. This miniature fire pit is perfectly sized for any backyard, and it's on sale. Nice. I don't know. You know, the thing about those fire pits, what happens to them is they're just not built well enough to withstand the elements. Unless you want to put it in some kind of shed after you use it. But if you just leave it out and then it rains and pours, they just go to crap. Prince Marky D, member of rap pioneer the Fat Boys. Hit songwriter, was 52. He's dead. Too bad. Rest in peace, dude. Never heard of you. But I probably heard some of the music in the article that they probably talk about. But we're not going to click on it. Under fire. Robinhood CEO apologizes to Congress for restricting trading. This guy, what's up with it? His hair is like kind of blocking his eye there. Gives him a very villainous look, if you ask me. Number of migrant families arriving from Mexico hits pre-pandemic levels. Yeah. Migrants in Mexico eager for Biden asylum policies. Migrants on the move again in Mexico and Central America. So, you know, we'll see what happens, guys. It's kind of a controversial subject. So we'll leave it to you. Maybe in the comments. Have at it. Folks at home, we're just going to do the reporting. Bunch of migrants are coming, looking for work. And some asylum seekers, because literally I would say for what these are not political asylums, these are economic asylum seekers, which if that's the the guidelines that we're using, then probably half the world could be economic refugees who want to come to America for asylum. Because they're just, can you imagine living in half of the countries in the world looking for jobs, trying to support your family? It's just not possible in some cases, or it is, but not to the degree that it is in first world countries like the United States. So you can't blame them for coming, but you can blame, just the policies that we have in place that they need to be reformed, guys. We need to figure it out. Disney Parks superfan reveals the ultimate secret hack for skipping lines. Yeah, I've never been to Disneyland, but you shouldn't be telling people how to skip the line, because if everybody knows how to skip the line, then everybody's going to try to skip the line. And then it's not going to work. Miley Cyrus abs. I actually have a confession to make, folks. I fell for this clickbait on women's health. The thing about, we talked about this, women's health. It's supposed to be about, I guess, are Miley Cyrus abs and her legs looking so freaking toned in her latest Instagram story snap? I guess that has to do with women's health. Had to check it out for myself. And it's hella disappointing because it just shows her running on a stupid treadmill. Nah. Totally misleading. Aisha Carey responds after being criticized for sharing nude photo. Oh. Mission accomplished, Aisha. Kim Kardashian West shares photos of daughter North in hair and makeup. That's great. She's a pretty girl. Looking at her, it looks like she's got the right amount of combination of Kanye and Kim going for her. So good for her. Laid off Keystone Pipeline workers slam Biden anti-energy policies. where we live here in Corpus Christi, refining oil is big, big, big business. One of the biggest employers, if not the biggest employer in the area. Lots of families have nice houses, 2 cars, because somebody works for Valero or Flint Hills or these companies. They pay a lot of money. Pro-Trump women's group cannot paint mural on NYC streets. All judge rules. The conservative women's group cannot paint its own mural on New York City streets, even after Mayor de Blasio allowed. So see, listen, folks, there are different rules for different people or organizations. You know, this is part of what's going on. This is when they talk about change. This is part of the change that we're being, what we're being conditioned for, because it's not even about accepting, and we're being conditioned to accept it. So in most cases, if you give one group the ability to do something in this manner, like putting murals on streets, but then not let other people do it also, then that's not fair. You know, people, the simple truth of, and the simple concept of, you know, even the studies have been made that even small, very young young children recognize the concept of fairness and what is and isn't fair. And so when you give one group of people the ability to do one thing but not others, it's unfair. But deal with it, folks, because that's what's going on. They're trying to make, you know, the whole argument of, you know, this whole critical, you know, in race theory and this and that is that there's amends. It's not like clean slate, Martin Luther King, content of your character, be colorblind. No. It's something else, folks. We're all figuring it out as it goes, because the rules change all the time. Hey, I'm doing a podcast over here. Man. I'm not a cat. Oh, chaotic GameStop hearing provides tense exchanges? Okay. Women with belly fat are more stigmatized than those with bigger butts. Yeah. Who did they ask? Men? Who was asked this question? Because I'm sure most, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable talking about women's bodies, guys. Okay, let's move on. Lindsey Vonn and ex-fiance PK Subban list Beverly Hills home for $7.2 million. Oh, I thought they were still engaged or something. I didn't know they weren't getting married after all. It's too bad. JetBlue is banning carry-ons for its cheapest tickets. That makes sense. You know, we're going to get to the point where air travel, this type of traveling, is going to be, you can't be bringing your stuff. It's just like, pop, you get there. I would imagine, right? I don't know. How do you travel somewhere and not bring your luggage? Not even carry-ons. Oh, the carry-on. What does that mean? The carry-ons, what you carry on? I guess you can still check luggage. I don't know. I don't fly enough to really have a great opinion on carrying on and checking luggage. All I know is the last time I flew to Massachusetts, and we got there at least almost an hour and a half early. And when we got there, I had to check in a car seat. And we were there over an hour early. Maybe an hour and 15 minutes early. And we go there, and the lady's like, well, you know, we can't guarantee your luggage will be put on the plane because you didn't check it in 90 minutes before the flight. And I was like, yeah, I checked it in 76 minutes before the flight. Is that a problem? I mean, it just seems ridiculous. How long does it really take to put people's luggage on a plane? You know, it seems like something fishy is going on, folks. We may need to consult with QAnon or start a subreddit kind of thing. Maybe Wall Street Bets might have an idea on what's going on with our luggage. Hillary Clinton responds to demolition of Trump casino. Oh, the haters are always going to hate, folks. When people thrive on hate like that, like when people, how many buildings have Hillary Clinton's name on it? Okay, let's ask it. How many buildings? So they demolish his Plaza Hotel, and then Hillary Clinton. That's what you're saying. These people were no better than you and I. Hillary Clinton's supposed to be a role model, supposed to be this dignitary of sorts, and yet she's gonna stoop to internet trolling. Okay, I thought she's supposed to be better. She's no better than Trump in that way. Okay, folks, give me a break. So dumb, so dumb. It's like, don't give me this like one side is better. They're all trash and they're all susceptible to the same kinds of pettiness. Hillary Clinton could have. Why is Trump's name shouldn't even be in her mouth anymore at this point? It's like Trump is like this super villain, superhero, this anti-hero that feeds off of the hate. And you're keeping everybody. Trump is gonna live on forever. I don't like making because it's ridiculous. But you know how you can't watch the History Channel or any other bunch of stations? They're always documentaries and shows on World War II that cover a particular villain, okay, of the 20th century. And so you can't ever forget this person because you can't watch TV without there being a World War II type of documentary that covers certain belligerents during World War II and their leaders, right? And so you'll never, you can't ever forget it. And why? Because you're constantly reminded. And Trump is going to live on forever because after he's dead and gone, people will always keep talking about him. He's immortal in that way. It's pretty crazy. It's so cold in the South that families are bringing their farm animals inside. That's cool. Farm animals aren't normally house trained, so they're having to pick up a lot of poop. Freak cold in Texas has scientists discussing whether climate change is to blame. I don't know. Is it? I thought it was that's why they say climate change, because it was global warming, but now it's super cold. And it's like these things. I did make an A in atmospheric science my sophomore year in college. But it was like a basic course, intro level course. So we didn't get into the minutia of climate change. But from what I gather on this whole climate change theory is that I thought it was supposed to be like kind of a gradual, like we're doing things. And so there's these gradual changes, but that will have like a planetary effect that causes problems. And so like freak events are just that, it just happens. We can't always try to blame climate change for strange weather events. Don't you agree? I mean, hasn't there always been strange weather events because the weather is unpredictable? But now, because of climate change, anything that happens is due to climate change. It's very strange. I don't know how that works. I need to talk to a climate change scientist. Help me find them, folks. If you know one, send me an email, jaminsdaily@gmail.com. We're going to try. It's been a really long time, folks. We're going to take another break. But when we get back, we're going to close it out. What I was going to say is that moving forward, we're going to try to bring back some guests. Because because we haven't had one on in a while, because we've been doing kind of this new layout, and it works fine because instead of just having the Yahoo headlines on here, I just put the guest pretty mug there, and we have a show like normal. But we're going through the ice age here in Texas, so people aren't exactly wanting to be a guest on a podcast, but we're not giving up on that, folks. This podcast is about current events, pulp culture, and Jamin's hot takes, and then guests. Who we're going to try to bring guests who are interesting folks, okay? And we're going to talk about the same thing. We're going to bring guests to talk about the headlines, but then their own unique, particular things. And we're going to try to get them on. We're going to try to make another effort because it's hard. I understand why, like in radio, you think Sean Hannity or Kid Craddock, they have somebody who probably makes a fairly, a livable wage. That's all they do. They call people and ask them if they want to come on the show. That's what I've been trying to do. I'm texting, calling, hey, you want to be on my podcast? Hey, this and that. What I found out is that most people say yes, but then it's hard. The follow through is very difficult. Very difficult. I need to maybe offer them money. Maybe that would work. All right, guys. When we get back, we're gonna have a quick closing because we had said we want to keep the segments. We want to create, which I'm still trying to, folks. And this is episode, I think, 61. So I got to spend a weekend and do a binge and just watch them through, take notes so that we still haven't come to a program template that's what we're going to stick to and really hone it in. We're still working on that, folks. And it's good because we're only on episode 61. I'm hoping when this podcast goes viral, we just blow up. It may be episode 301 that all of a sudden, and then boom, people start watching the older ones. That's how that works. And so they're going to see these different, the different programming segment stuff that we tested and see what didn't work. But we're going to eventually come to something that does, that I decide to really run with and say, this is what we're going to do all the time. Because I've been told from people who know that that's what you got to do. We've been doing 60-something episodes, and it's just been here or there, all kinds of no exact timing as to when the podcast is going to be running. And now that I think about it, we're already at 42 minutes. We're not even going to go to a break, folks. We're just going to end it right now. But don't forget, Jamin's Daily. I want to thank you for joining me. But don't forget that this podcast is brought to you by Sage Choice Insurance Agency. You can call them at 361-400-2411. Realtors, loan originators. We're always looking for referral sources. So give me a call. Send us an email at jaminsdaily.com talking about the podcast, but say, hey, we want to reach out. We want to be a guest. We encourage realtors, loan originators, come on the show. Talk about what you're doing. Love to have you. Until then, folks, just want to thank you for joining us. Jamin's Daily. We're available on Podbean, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube. Find us. Like, share, subscribe. So the next time, folks, I want to thank you for sticking with us because the best is yet to come.